2024 as the story behind it,
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
This is Core TV News on the Hour with Nifemi Oguntoye. Members of the Bring Back Our Girls movement are demanding a more credible progress report on ongoing efforts to rescue hundreds of schoolgirls abducted from Chibok, Borno State in April. The group is also seeking a review of financing for security operations in the Northeast. This was the thrust of a press briefing addressed by the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners to draw attention to the girls' 80th day in captivity.
Our movement is therefore making the following demands. 1. An accurate assessment of the effectiveness of the ongoing rescue operation and more credible communication of progress to the public by our federal government on its mission to bring back our girls without compromising sensitive operational information. They should include conveying substantive targets and milestones attained so far in the rescue operation. 2. Reassure Nigerians on the adequacy and effectiveness of the federal government's counterinsurgency strategy, especially in responding to the worsening security condition in Chibok and other parts of Borno State, where the federal government reported that it had deployed about 20,000 Nigerian soldiers early in May, as well as intensifying attention to the most vulnerable zones of the Northeast and the rest of the country in that order. 3. Review of the financing of our security operations by the federal government and the National Assembly to ensure adequacy and value for money, especially with regard to A. Allocation of resources for adequate compensation and welfare of security personnel in the military and other security agencies. B. Equipment, weapons, intelligence tools and systems. And C. Basic support facilities.
The clamor for state creation has pitched delegates against one another at the National Conference. Some delegates claimed that it was wrong for the Committee on Political Restructuring and Forms of Government to recommend creation of one state for the Southeast alone, without anything for other zones. The committee approved criteria for the creation of states by saying that any new state sought to be created must be viable. In determining what is viable, the committee says such state must be economically viable or potentially economically viable, and it should have human, natural and material resources, as well as having a minimum land mass. The new state should, according to the committee, also have cultural and historical affinity, in addition to a minimum population of 1 million people. There were 34 requests for state creation before the committee, while a request was made to change the name of Adamawa State to Gongola State. A delegate who was a former Minister of Industry, Nike Akode, canvassed the creation of another state from the present Oyo State. In his contribution, a former national chairman of the ruling People's Democratic Party, PDP, Amadou Ali, queries the rationale used by the committee to award a new state for the Southeast. Another PDP stalwart, Olabode George, also called for the creation of Isaleko State from the present Lagos State. The Edo State House of Assembly has impeached the Deputy Speaker, Festus Ebere, on allegations of misconduct and misdemeanor. The 15 lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House, Uigwe, endorsed the impeachment, when it held plenary at an old chamber located at the Government House in Benin. Moving the motion for the impeachment, a member of the House, Folio Gedigbe, representing Owan East 1, noted that the suspended Deputy Speaker was bound to be impeached, citing Section 92, subsection 2C of the 1999 Constitution and Section 72, Rule 19 of the Assembly. The lawmakers also elected a new Deputy Speaker, Victor Edoro, who took the oath of office immediately. The House explained that it had to hold sitting at the old chamber following ongoing renovation in the chambers located at the Anthony Enahoro Assembly Complex, which he linked the forcible entry by the Deputy Speaker and some aides. The House has adjourned sitting to July 7 and says it will resume plenary in the old chamber. However, the impeached Deputy Speaker described the development as executive impunity and madness. And in the Adamawa House of Assembly, of course, has directed the Chief Judge of the state to constitute a 7-man panel in order to investigate the acts of gross misconduct leveled against Governor Murtala Nyako and his deputy Bala James Ngilari for 7 days. The resolution was adopted by 20 out of the 25 lawmakers that resolved that Nyako and Ngilari be investigated by the panel to be constituted by the Chief Judge of the state with immediate effect. The proceedings of the panel are expected to be held in public and shall be conducted from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day of the 7 days. The lawmakers adopted the panel of investigation rules of procedure of Adamawa State, which Fintiri says should include a chairman, a secretary, 5 others, and should adopt ordinary rules of fair hearing. Meanwhile, the Defense Counsel to Governor Murtala Nyako, Ayo Akam, who held briefs for Kanu Agambi, described the action of the Adamawa House of Assembly as a contempt of court, as the court had already restrained the House from carrying on the impeachment process. However, the Adamawa state government has refuted claims by the State House of Assembly that one of the state government's account has not been frozen. The Director Press and Public Affairs, Amode Sajo, says lawmakers' directive that the state government immediately pays June salaries is blackmail. Sajo says the House of Assembly is aware of the illegality of the freezing of the state accounts by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, adding that any statement relating to which account was closed or open is mere speculation. Sajo stressed that the non-payment of June salaries is precipitated by the legal act of the EFCC, which is endorsed by the Adamawa State House of Assembly. The Federal Executive Council has approved a 5.6 billion naira contract for the completion of Mangu Dam in Plateau State. Briefing newsmen after the council meeting, Information Minister Labaran Mako and his water resources counterpart Cyril Chekbe said the project would on completion serve more than 700,000 people in 10 communities. They added that the project is expected to generate employment opportunities for thousands of local residents.
It's a very important project for the Mangu community, and the water supply scheme is supposed to not only support the people of Mangu, but also about 10 other communities along with Mangu. Overall, about 700,000 people benefit from this dam. So the Ministry of Water Resources, after terminating the contract for lack of performance, went back to BPP to procure the contract afresh for the completion of the Mangu Regional Urban Water Supply Scheme.
Today, Council approved the award of contract for the completion of the Mangu Dam, which is a component of the Mangu Regional Water Supply Scheme. The initial contract for the dam was awarded in 2002, but not much was done. Only about 22% of the work was done after 22 months. And the contractor did not show seriousness in completing the work. The first contract for the construction of the dam is called Trans Project Nigeria Limited. And between when the contract was awarded and when they stopped work, about 1 billion naira had been paid to them. Specifically, the communities that will be benefiting from this contract, the water supply scheme, are Mangu, Gindri, Mangu Hale, Kadunun, Vondi, Panyam, Pushit, Amper, Mangun, and Langa.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is now removing drugs without approved authentication service code from pharmacies. This, according to the enforcement team, is part of efforts to check the sale of counterfeit drugs in the country. Payosama witnessed one of the team's operations in Abuja.
The mobile authentication service was introduced by NAFDAC 2 years ago. The aim is for consumers to easily detect counterfeit drugs at the point of purchase. But years after its introduction, Some drug manufacturers are still not complying with NAFDAC directive. This pharmaceutical store was a point of call for NAFDAC pharmacovigilance team to clear the store of drugs without the mobile authentication service code.
Even when products are registered and they're in the market, that people do at times counterfeit the products and also affix the NAFDAC numbers. So this mass code is a mobile technology-based system that we have brought to reinforce that securing of the products with the NAFDAC number, so that this mass code will now let the consumer know that this product is actually coming from that source that is stated on the package. And if the code is not there and it has a NAFDAC number, you may not know whether this is a counterfeited NAFDAC number or whether it's actually genuine. So they work hand in hand.
The NAFDAC official did not hold back as she ordered the manufacturers of these drugs to recall the drugs from circulation within 30 days.
Them 30 calendar days for them to ensure that the owners come forward, and then the owners themselves have 90 working days to ensure that these products are fixed with the mass code. The consumer at the point of purchase, when they purchase the product, before even they pay, they're supposed to scratch and send to the code that is there, the short code, and that will confirm whether it's actually coming from that particular source or not.
For now, NAFDAC has suspended the sale of these drugs on the grounds that they may not be healthy for human consumption. They can only be on the shelves when the mobile authentication service code is affixed on them. Pius Samuel, Core TV News, Abuja.
China's president visits South Korea. Find out details of that story shortly after this break.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Core TV News presents a platform with presence in over 30 states of the Federation. Be sure to be had. For live coverage of events, we have the capacity to deliver from anywhere in Nigeria and beyond. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 014-533-407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. China's president has arrived in Seoul for a state visit seen as a snub to Beijing's traditional ally, North Korea, whose nuclear weapons ambitions would dominate talks with South Korean leader Park Geun-hye. It was Xi Jinping's fourth trip as head of state to the perennially volatile Korean peninsula and will mark a second summit with Park, who visited China last year. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is still waiting for an invitation to Beijing, a calculated rebuff that speaks to the strained relationship between Pyongyang and its historic and most important ally. What some say saw as a display of pique at Xi's visit. North Korea conducted a series of rocket and missile launches over the past week and pledged further tests in the future. And Pyongyang scored a diplomatic victory of its own as Japan announced it was revoking some of its unilateral sanctions on North Korea after progress in talks on the Cold War, kidnapping of Japanese nationals. Japan and North Korea do not have formal diplomatic ties, and the announcement of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe is a significant step forward for a relationship that has been testy for decades. After Xi and Park hold their summit, the two leaders are expected to sign a joint communique with Seoul, hoping for a strong statement on North Korea's nuclear weapons program. And that's a wrap on Core TV News this hour. I'll be back at the top of the hour with more stories. Stay with us. Don't go away.